welcome to WASA Distance Education. My name is Greg Weaver, and this is ENG4E, Grade 12 Workplace English. I'd like to welcome everyone listening across the North State, either at home, your learning center, or on Bell Express U. To call and join our class, you can call 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017 or 2983 in the Sioux Lookout, Lac Seul, or Dryden areas. Let's welcome everyone back to class today. This is our last week of classes. We do have 4 classes left. We'll be finishing up on Thursday. For those students who are registered in the radio course, you do have until next Friday to complete your courses, the 19th. For those students who are taking the IL course and listening in through IL, your deadline is the 12th, this Friday. That's your deadline to have all of your work in and completed. Now, if you are planning on graduating, you have to have your work in as soon as possible. We cannot do an extension if you are going to be a potential grad. If you are not planning on graduating, we do have some time, and you can look at doing extension if you are not planning on graduating. So with all of that in mind, we're going to keep going where we left off on Thursday. So we looked at leases. What is a lease and how you can search for and find an apartment. And we looked at different reasons why you would have to break your lease. And that was key question 47. We're looking at number 2 there, which is you have to write a letter to your landlord notifying them that you are breaking your lease and the reasons why. Your letter should be dated and follow proper letter format. Use formal writing when you draft your letter. It should be about a page if you're doing it on line paper, or if you're on a computer, between about 150 and 200 words long, and be double-spaced. And the way you set up a formal letter is so. I know it's not in here. We look at that in lesson 19, but we'll do a quick cover right now. You should have learned this in grade 11. But when you do that, the first thing you start with is your address. So say your name and address. So say Jim Smith, your address. So the address is 123 Fake Street, and you're in Sioux Lookout, Ontario, and the postcode. P291. So you start with your address. Is the first thing you start with. You start off with your address. Then you have the date. So put a space in there. And you have the date. June 8, 2015. And then who is your letter going to? What's your landlord's name? So let's say it's going to go to Bob Jones. And where is he? What's his address? Let's say he lives at 66 Front Street, and that's in Sioux Lookout. P182. So the other parts you have your address, you need the date, then you have the address that it is going to. So what's the address? Then you have your opening. Dear Mr. Jones. It's a full colon. And then you have all of your reasons here. So all these lines, all of this is the reason you are leaving. And then, once you have all that done, you have your closing. We sincerely. And you have your name. You want to leave enough space in between. So you could sign your name and then have your name. So we say our name in this one was Jim Smith. So we'd have Jim Smith, and you'd sign your name. So you got Jim Smith. So that's the way you can set up a formal letter when you complete this. Using this formal letter setup is worth 5 of the 20 marks. So 15 come from what reasons you give. So it's important that you do a proper format. It has to be in formal writing. Can't be using informal language for this. And you have to be aware of that as well. And so that is what we're looking at for the last bit of lesson 16. So we're going to look at, start with lesson 17 now. So lesson 17 is looking at the different parts of a lease. So we're just going to work through that, and then we'll get some of the key questions, and then we'll take our break for the time after that. So I'm going to clear all this writing off the screen here, and we'll get started with lesson 17. So lesson 17. So this is looking at rental agreements. So we're looking at specifically at what is a lease and what are some different parts of it, as well as how can we fill it out. Now, this is just a sample lease. No matter wherever place you choose to get, if you choose to leave your community, you will have some kind of lease to sign. By looking at this, we're looking at just a sample, but most of them have the similar sections, maybe different orders, a bit slightly different wording, but this is the basics of it. So this is for a month-to-month lease. This is not for a 1-year lease. Depending where you're living, you either sign normally it's either a 1-year lease or a 6-month lease. Some places do month-to-month. The difference is just how long you're locked into living in that place. So, and there's different clauses, different paragraphs. So the first one is who is this between? So the person who's renting the apartment is our tenant. That's their name. They're the tenant. So in this case, Homer Simpson is our tenant, and Springfield Property Management is the landlord. It says each tenant is jointly and severally liable for payment of the rent and performance of all the terms of the agreement. So let's say you get a place with your friend or a couple of friends. Regardless of who's on the lease, if one friend doesn't pay the rent, you have to make up the difference and get it back out of that friend later on. Number two is identification of the premises. So where are you renting? So in this case, they're renting 233 Fake Street, and what comes with it? So it comes with a fridge and a stove. It doesn't have a microwave. It doesn't have a dishwasher. Most places don't have those. It also includes use of a laundry room. You still have to pay for the laundry, but it includes a laundry room, as well as free parking. Our next one looks at the limits of use. So who can live there? So it's limited to Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. Marge is not in the picture in this one. And if guests live there longer than a month, it's forbidden without permission from the landlord. When does it begin? So say the rent begins July 15th and on a month-to-month basis. The landlord may terminate by giving the tenant 60 written notice. So they can kick you out by giving you 60 days notice, or you can give the landlord a month's notice, or it's 3 days. So 2 months for a landlord to kick you out, and a month for you to leave. Normally, with most places, you need to give 2 months notice before you move out. If you don't, then they'll make you pay still for those 2 months, as well as any fees for breaking the lease. Now, how much is the rent? Next one's payment. Rent's $500 a month, payable in advance of the first day of each month, 7 paying a weekend legal holiday, and it can be delivered to where? Depending where you're renting from, they may have an office where you have to deliver it to, or if they have a house nearby, you may deliver it to the house. And how will they pay it? Well, they'll accept. This one only accepts a personal check payable to Springfield Property Management. They don't take anything else. They don't take credit cards, money orders, or cash. Now, a new option that's out there that more and more landlords are using is a pre-authorized debit. So it's like perhaps like a car payment or a mortgage payment. They take the money directly from your account. And next one in terms of prorate first rent. So because it's month to month, they want this landlord wants the term to start on the first. So it's going to charge you an extra $30 a day till the 30th, which is actually more than 1 month's rent to begin with. So that's something you want to be aware of in leases. Next is a late charge, number 6. So tenant fails to pay the rent before the end of 3 days after it's due. There's a late charge of $50 plus $10 for each additional day to a maximum of how much? In this case, it's to a maximum of $200. And if your check bounces, it's $50 fee for the bounce check. Next is security deposit. That's really important. So most places will require you to give some kind of security deposit. So that if there's any damage done to the apartment after you move out, they can have some money from you to pay it back. The security deposit, depending on where you live, is fully refundable if there's no damage once you move out. And in Ontario, anything identified as a security deposit must earn interest as well. So it has to earn interest as well as still staying there. And it will be returned in form of how it will be returned. This one says it will be returned in the form of a check. And then the last one, clause 9, is utilities. So who pays utilities? That's like your heat, your hydro, your electricity, and your water. So it says who pays what? Well, the landlord's going to pay the electricity and the property taxes on the apartment itself. So in this case, you're responsible for your own heat if it's not electric, as well as your own water. And now the next clause is there's nothing to fill in. Let's go through them really quickly. This says that you won't sublet, so you can't sublet someone else. You're responsible to keep the premises clean, notify any danger, the landlord of any danger, and reimburse landlord any cost for done by damage that you caused yourself. And it says right here, it says you have examined the premises and make sure that everything's clean, is good, clean condition, except for the landlord-tenant checklist. And that will be something that will be attached to the lease. Next is repairs alteration by the tenant, and this is except as provided by law or authorized by prior consent. You can't make any repairs or alterations, including nailing holes in the walls or painting. And you can't change the locks or rekey the locks either. Now, anything of any violation or damage or anything goes through that. Pretty much, if there's anything like that, then you can be kicked out. Number 4 is the landlord's right to access. What that means is if they need to come into the apartment, how much notice do they have to give you? It's normally either 24 or 48 hours unless it's an emergency. If it is an emergency, they can come in without letting you know. They'll knock on the door and then come right in. Normally, they have to let you know that it's a non-emergency. An emergency is something like if there's a pipe burst in the apartment above you and they're worried about water coming down. That would be an emergency. And next is taking possession. You've read the attached rules, which will be attached as afterwards. And if there's any tech goes to lawsuit, the winning party will or will not cover attorney fees. And then you acknowledge all this, and then where you can send your payment to, and all of that. And then you have your signature, landlord's signature, and the tenant's signature. Now, one thing you notice that this does not include is anything to do with pets. Depending on where you're living and the living situation itself, if you fall under the Ontario Landlord and Tenant Act, which you, if you're renting a place, you do, unless you are sharing a kitchen and a bathroom with your landlord. So if you're renting a room in their house, you wouldn't. Other than that, you'd follow the Landlord Tenant Act, and that lands are not allowed to ban pets from apartments. They can charge you a fee, but they cannot ban them completely. However, if you tell them they have a pet, they may not rent you the apartment. And that leads us into key question 48. So what do you want to look and try and find some examples of property that are available. Let's say look at Kitsu Bulletin, the Kenora Daily Mire News, or CKDR, or Kenora.Kijiji. Kenora Online is also another one. And look what's available. For cost of rent, near school of work, pets, apartment size, and hidden fees. And what you want to do, you want to try and find an ad, write a short paragraph explaining why you would or would not choose to rent this property. And you have to print out the ad as well when you hand this in so I can see it. So that's where we'll take our break. I want you to try and find some apartments to look at, and then we'll go through some other ones as well, and then we'll get started with key question 49 as well, and then we'll go from there. So we'll take about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back. So I'll talk to you then. Until then, get started on this. And any questions, we'll talk after the break. And we are back. So we're going to start with key question 48 now. Hopefully a chance to get started with this at home first. So what we're going to be looking at, we're going to look at trying to find apartments if you do choose to get one. So we have a couple sites we're going to check out first. So first site we're going to go to is one has a lot of listings on it. It's ckdr.net. It's the Dryden radio station, and it's under classifieds. Where you want to find it. So you go to classified, and then what are you looking for? So we're going to look for real estate. And it's looking for apartments, and we'll open up houses as well, just to see what's available. So see, there's different options available here. Also apartments as well. So see, there's different things, options available for rent here. And this is just one site here. Another one, Lawson is now posted on Facebook. I know in Sioux Lookout here, there is a Facebook group for real estate and for people trying to find houses. I don't have it. I don't think I have it on my account here, but we'll see if we can find it. So still got real estate rentals. And so there's different things that are available here for rent or to buy. So that's one option there. Another one is this option here as well. And if we look here, we can find real estate for apartments as well. Now it says Kenora, but covers most of Northwestern Ontario. So you can narrow it down to searching. Option for Dryden here. And you also could search Sioux Lookout as well. Now, unfortunately, there's not much in Sioux Lookout. And another one is KenoraOnline.com. And we go to classifieds here. We can find more stuff as well. So there's real estate here. And there's also the newspapers, Sioux Lookout Bulletin, Dryden Observer, and the Kenora Daily Miner News. So we're going to choose one from CKDR, and I'm going to start working through this. So this one here has some photos of it. This is for a 2-bedroom apartment. So it says available for $700. Includes heat, hydro, fridge, stove, washer, and dryer, main furniture, and a nice quiet home. Located 5 minutes from Dryden on Wreckham Road. August 1st. For needed, no pets smoking or pets allowed. I know this one here, they can't ban pets. So this would be something you have to negotiate with the landlord. But it's one there. Another example is this one here. This is in Dryden as well. So this is a bit cheaper. It's only $600. And then there is photos there as well. And there's a $800 for a 1-bedroom. So it's different things. So when we go back to our unit, what you want to do is you want to look through these, and you want to find three apartments that you think may or may not work for you, and try to find all in the same city. So all in Sioux Lookout, all in Dryden, all in Kenora, all in Red Lake, wherever it is. And just try to find those. And you identify them, and then write them out. And then we'll look at key question 49 tomorrow. And we're going to choose one of these guys. Actually going to create and fill out a lease. We can find that at the back of this unit. And we'll fill that out. So other than that, I think we're going to end a little bit early. Um, we have covered everything we want to get there. We don't have time to start looking at other apartments. Um, we're going to finish up. So we'll talk to you again at the same time tomorrow. Until then, have a good night, Miigwech, and bye for now.